Hello or hi. 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 Welcome. I invite you to breathe with me. Drop those shoulders, relax your jaw. Feel your bum wherever you are. Feel the contact with whatever surfaces you're touching with your feet or your booty. Listen to the sound. All right, so today I wanted to, did I get my letter? I wanted to talk about, sorry, I'm looking for something. Oh, there it is. Okay, there's that. I'll be right back. Oh, I got it. I got it all. I have what I need here. All right, I'm just kind of setting the tone, setting the environment, lighting a candle. Oh, putting it in my little lotus holder. It's pretty on one side and it's pretty on the other side, but it's a little bit, cracked. So that's my lotus. I would turn off the light overhead and just kind of keep the flames going, but then the camera would just shut off because it wouldn't be able to perceive me. Okay, so anyway, today I wanted to just kind of talk about what happens when you spend, quality time outdoors, out with the world beyond humans in the natural world, and how capable we are of observing and deriving messages that are meaningful to us from the natural world. I know that most times, if I go outdoors, there's something for me to take in psychologically through metaphors that the natural world offers me. If I'm spending 15 or more minutes staring up at the clouds in the sky, I start to feel more air in my own body, and this reminds me to relax and just be more spacious in my energy. And it's, I guess what I'm thinking right now is it's pretty much a reminder that I really am connected to it all. I am also the clouds in a sense. And there have been multiple times, and maybe I'll do some storytelling on my channel here, but I have a handful of personal stories where I've been praying outdoors, just asking for guidance or protection, and have had certain birds or certain animals kind of appear and basically affirm that I'm being heard by God, the universe, source, a combination of it all. My voice is a part of the soundscape of this world, and my energy is being emitted out, and that is bouncing off of things, materials, beings, other forms, and like returning to me and affirming and validating my existence and my desires. And there's just a lot of beauty in just spending quality time, really slowing down and listening to the natural world, because it's honestly, I feel like it's wanting to connect and allow us humans to make these connections in our own minds. Um, and there's just a lot of wisdom with the other beings, the other forms of life out here, and so much that as humans can learn from them. So lately I've been inspired to just share about my most recent inspiration, and the reason why I initially wanted to make this video was because of ducks. So where I am, I'll just start with telling my story. I also wrote it down, and then I think I will read from The Animal Speak book by Ted Andrews. And I guess I'll say more about this book right now. Is I love to refer to this book when I have an encounter with an animal, or when, like, maybe a certain animal is just like being spoken of frequently. It's like I catch on to these patterns, and it's like, oh, I'm hearing about a squirrel here. Oh, suddenly I'm like on my way to work and walking next to a squirrel, and he's like walking with me for like a whole yard or so, or I'm sitting in a tree and there's a squirrel that's like trying to come down that tree. And so referring to this book is really nice because it's about symbolism and animal totems and the behavior patterns of animals and what we can really learn from them, from how they live their lives. So I wanted to share a story about ducks most recently. So okay. So most recently, I was walking home from work, and like a something about deers is that they don't usually choose the same pathway twice. They like to change up their routes. They like to be unpredictable, and that's something that I like to do. So I embody the deer-like spirit, right? But and I really try to use my intuition when I'm going on my walks. Just listening to my body, like, oh, I feel like I should go this way, or I feel like I should go straight. Like, I really just try to tune in and listen. And there have been times when it's definitely been affirmed, like I made the right decision for sure. So I'm walking down this alleyway, and suddenly two ducks, a male and a female duck, fly like over my head and land like just a few yards in front of me. And one of them kind of like lands as if he expects to be like landing in water. So he kind of stumbles and like falls on his chest. And so I'm like, hey, ducks, are you okay? I like to speak to the animals a little bit. I'm, strange like that, I guess. But yeah, so these two ducks popped up, and I don't remember what was on my mind, but immediately after the two ducks showed up, it's like I noticed that there was a park in this alleyway, and there's like, kind of like a houseless camp. Like there's camp set up there, and where I live, I love everybody. But like everybody has their own personalities and their own behaviors, and as a woman walking around, like I gotta be alert and I gotta be aware that like not everybody has the best intentions, and as much as I want to be friendly, I have to carry a certain guard of protection around me and awareness. And so yeah, so these two ducks come and fly and land in front of me. I walk past, the ducks start walking like towards the park, and then this man walks up, and he's like, he's just looking like he's looking for something, right? And And then suddenly there's this like security car that pulls out and then turns right, and then and basically towards me. And then like this lawyer attorney guy walks down the steps here. So it's like we're all at a crossroads. It's like I'm coming from the south, guy from the park is coming from east, attorney guy is coming from the west, and then the security guy. And so the guy at the park stops, waves at the security guy and stops the car. And at first, because the first person I saw was the guy from the park. So initially I was like, oh man, did I you just never know. I really try to play it cool, but just thinking like, was this the right decision for me to be walking down this alleyway? But I think those ducks were kind of telling me like, you're protected in one way or another, but maybe you might want to be more aware of I might want to be more aware of how I'm caring for myself and protecting myself just because of the timing of them showing up. But I've actually been thinking a lot about like crosses and just like certain people, like, we're walking or just how like paths cross, right? And apparently I'm learning most recently that like the cross is a good way to kind of like establish like a self-protection sort of aura or something. I don't know, maybe I'll share more about that later once I know more about it, but it had me thinking about like the geometric grid, which I know that everything is like numbers in a grid, but I don't fully like understand it. I don't know. Anyway, so that was the first interaction with the ducks. And then the second interaction I had with the ducks, okay, I was at the park again, or I was at a park, and my sister and her daughter, my niece, decided to join me at the park. And my niece really just wanted to see the ducks. And this is like a day later, the next day. And so she's like looking for the ducks. We're walking around this pond, like trying to find the ducks, and they're kind of like, there's only a few. And so we point out those few, and suddenly they start swimming our way, and we're standing on the bridge. And one of the ducks flies pretty much right over our heads, and then to cross over the bridge and go to the other side of the pond. And then another duck decides to like walk upon the rocks underneath the bridge. So one chooses a pathway over, one chooses a pathway under the bridge. And of course we're pointing it out to our niece and, just kind of reflecting. And my niece was like, you're not a duck, or I'm not a duck. And we're like, no, I guess you're not a duck. And she's like, you're not a duck either. She's like 4. No, she's 3. She's pretty young, but she's very bright. And I was like, I was thinking yesterday that maybe I am a duck. And I was thinking that because ducks, they fly in the air, they swim in water and on top of water, and they walk on land. And I have an Aquarius rising sign with a Pisces moon and a Virgo sun. So in my 3 main dominant like elements in my natal chart would be earth, water, and air. So I'm like, okay, it's definitely saying something there. And my sister was like, yeah, they do a lot of different things. And I was like, oh yeah, I do a lot of different things. I really do. Like I have a lot of different interests and practices that I do for myself. So fast forward another day, and I'm walking around the same pond, and I stop to look at the water, and there's no ducks around. And suddenly a dragonfly lands on my arm, and I'm like, oh, just staring at the dragonfly, like kind of wondering, like, do dragonflies bite or anything? Like I was kind of looking for like prongs or anything, but he's just looking at me like, hey, And then he flew off of me and then landed on my shoulders. And then he's looking over here. And as I'm looking in this direction, this man that I had just walked past, he's like playing music at a table. He rides over to me on his bike. And he's like, "Aren't they beautiful?" And I was like, "Who's they? What are you talking about?" And he was like, "The ducks." And I was like, "Oh yeah, they're beautiful." But the thing is, there were no ducks around. I couldn't see a duck in sight when he pointed them out. So, yeah, and then he proceeded and he was like, did I see you this morning when you were like laying by a tree and I came over to check on you? Was that you?" And I was like, "No, that wasn't me." He was like, "Oh yeah, it must just be the beautiful smile you have," or something like that. And yeah, so I'm kind of thinking like, maybe the duck that he was referencing was me. The duck is beautiful. He's talking about I looked like this other beautiful woman, this other beautiful chick. I don't know if chicks are like baby ducks or anything, but excuse me, I'm gonna drink some water. So yeah, and then I had like a few more instances where like ducks were being mentioned, or I was like suddenly hearing ducks a lot, like through videos on YouTube or something like that. So that's my most recent story with ducks. And I'm still trying to figure out what it means for me. And I did read through the duck portion already, and I don't remember if I wrote about it to really reflect. I don't think I did. But from what I remember, it was really saying like to take better care of myself. Yeah, I think during this time of my life, I am definitely like learning what it means to take accountability for my behavioral patterns and where I'm coming from, and how I'm treating others, but also like how I'm treating myself and how that is reflected back to me in my relationships. Yeah, so I want to read the duck. It just might take me a second to find it again. You know, I could have been more prepared. Because there's different sections. There's a whole section on insects. There's a section on reptiles. Let's see. A section on birds. Do I gotta go to the index? The chitters! The chitters! Okay, ducks. 134, 136. I think I'm excited because I'm finally recording, and I've been kind of thinking about doing this for a minute. So, okay, guys. So I'm going, or gals, you know, or pals. Okay, I'm gonna read to you ducks. All right. The words of Ted Andrews. All right. Ducks. Keynote: emotional comfort and protection. What? Now I'm thinking too, this really falls in line with the I think it's a Scorpio eclipse we just had. It's today is May 19th, 2023. And for me as an Aquarius rising, that means it's really affecting like my 4th house of home and my 10th house of like career and stuff. And I really have been, since like the first like Scorpio eclipse in November, I think, or that was like, you know, Scorpio season, I've had like some things come up as far as like how safe I feel in my home environment. And so, yeah, I'm really like processing that. Like, how can I exist here, you know, or if I need to like move, or how can I really like develop like a sense of safety for myself while I'm at home and while I'm out and about. Yeah, so I think I'm onto something. Okay, I'm onto something because the world is giving me signs, literally. Okay. So keynote is emotional comfort and protection. Cycle of power is spring and summer. And it's the springtime! Okay. The duck is probably the most common waterfowl. Because of its connection to water, it is linked to the feminine energies, the astral plane, and to the emotional state of humans. Water is necessary for all life on Earth. Nothing can live without it. Hydration! Yeah, I was thinking that before I turned on this video too, actually, was to stay hydrated. You know, the plants need more water at this time. I'm noticing that with my houseplants, and I'm noticing that I'm much more parched lately too. So staying hydrated. I probably really during this time could stay away from things like alcohol and coffee, because the last few times that I've drinking like haven't been good for me emotionally, and also like I feel it in my fingertips that I'm like dehydrated. Anyway, ducks can remind us to drink of the waters of life, as well as to nurture our own emotional natures. Yeah, I think before I got the signs from the ducks, I ate like a whole. This is no eating shaming or anything like that. But for me, I think I do have a tendency to feel guilty for eating things like sweets, and I think that sometimes I might like order a bunch of sweets online, and I just get like a big sweet tooth. But I feel like it's really because I'm missing some kind of sweetness in my life outside of food. So after that weekend and after the ducks appeared, I've been trying to incorporate more of a fullness of life through other practices, picking up a book, like, putting down my phone and dancing, and yeah, just trying to like sweeten up my life somehow, just embracing my personality again. I think I kind of went through a stage of just being distracted and not really focused too much on my own energy and how I'm really nurturing myself and caring for myself. And I'm important, like you are. So it's important to do. So I don't know how to do this, but this is my first time really like going into this, but I'll try not to like digress too much, whatever that word means. Okay. Okay, so it says under this picture here, it's a picture of the duck. Okay, it says wood ducks. I'm just noticing there's like a bunch of nines in the picture. And I feel like that's kind of saying like it's an ending to one way of treating the self and a start of a new way of like claiming that self-love and appreciation and care for the self. Okay, it says the wood duck. Wood ducks are unique among all ducks in that they can climb trees and actually will live in them. As with all ducks, though, they can help us connect with the archetypal energies that can help us develop a greater sense of emotional comfort and protection in our lives. Literally, that day that guy walked up to me and told me that the ducks were beautiful, I was sitting in a tree as well. And it's been a while since I've really climbed a tree. So I know this message is talking to me, and I, if you're watching it, hopefully it applies to you in one way or another. You can look at ducks and kind of derive that understanding from them, be reminded of that, their power. So it says, all breeds of ducks swim. Some can dive as deep as 100 feet. Others eat by dipping under the water, reminding us we can find sustenance in our emotions. Ooh, that's good. I don't have to find sweetness just through cake. I can find sweetness through my own emotional field. It says all ducks. Wait. Oh yeah. Okay. All ducks live near or on the water except the wood duck. On land, they do not move as well. For those with a duck as a totem, it may reflect an inability, to feel comfortable with most people in your life. True. I mean, I feel comfortable with myself around other people, usually, sometimes. But I have had some issues with relating and, feeling really, truly connected with other people. For those with it may reflect a need to find comfort in your own element and with those of life, mind, and spirit. Ducks can remind us that we are going to have such an opportunity. Woohoo! That was kind of what I was thinking when I saw the male and female duck. It's like, ooh, okay, partnership? I don't know. Apparently. Ducks have played important roles in other countries and cultures, and this may reflect past life connections. Whoa. The Egyptians were the first to domesticate ducks. The Chinese pioneered the art of duck raising. These are but two simple examples that could be explored. The colors of the duck can help you in determining specifically the role it will play in your life. Most ducks are a variety of colors, ranging from white to the rich blue-green iridescence of mallards and wood ducks. The mallard is one of the most prolific ducks. It is probably good that it is so because it is also one of the most widely hunted. Widely hunted. That's kind of how I've been feeling a little bit, to be honest. And so that's kind of why I feel like I need to establish means of self-protection. They can be very amiable and display a wide variety of emotions. They are also easily imprinted. I mean, for me, that sounds like attachment, For several years, this is from Ted Andrews, he says, for several years, I participated in an Adopt a Duck program run by the Dayton Museum of Natural History every Easter. The mallards would be raised until old enough to be released into the wild to help repopulate certain areas. They would follow me around the house and yard. I was, to all purposes, their father and mother. They have a great ability to show affection, and they are very community-oriented. That does sound like me, okay. They like having others around. They will also return to wherever you feel safe and comfortable. Ducks can sometimes remind us to return to those parts of ourselves or those activities that we feel safe and comfortable in as well. Yeah, it's been kind of like a return as well to certain things that nourish me. During the summer, most male mallards go through an eclipse phase, a period in which they are flightless. During this time, they wear the drab plumage of the female for extra protection in the rearing of the young. Even the young take to the water easily, and it reminds us not to close off our emotional sides. We should be as willing to explore our emotions as every other aspect of our life. Yeah, that's been something I've been hearing too from wherever friends, and is maybe that I've been a little bit detached from my emotions, and so doing what I can to dive back into those waters, The wood duck is also a colored wild duck. It has an iridescence to its feathers that reflects a kind of spirituality that will open up to you as you begin to come into your own element. Wood ducks all perch in trees to some extent, and they have toes on their webbed feet to help them in climbing. The wood duck's nest is hollow branches and large woodpecker-type holes above and away from the water. How the young get out of the nest and into the water is difficult to say, although it is generally accepted that ducklings can and do jump down from the trees alone. Wood ducks in general have many intriguing habits, more than they can be covered in this work. As you study them, you can find ways of applying their habits to your own life. That's pretty much what's probably said under every animal in this book. All ducks have a grace upon water, And as a totem, they can help you to handle your own emotions with greater grace and comfort. Yeah, I've been feeling that actually more so lately, is that I am able to feel the emotions also when I do tap into them, like feeling the emotions riding through my body and observing them. That's really what it means to acknowledge it and listen. All ducks have a grace of, oh wait, I already read that. Many psychologists and therapists could do no better than to have a duck as a totem to assist them in helping others move through their emotional tangles. So then there's that little nudge, I guess, I have thought about doing some kind of, I am a nature therapy guide, but I've thought about doing other kinds of counseling maybe one day, Yeah. So that's kind of like the whole shebang on ducks. And I'm kind of wondering if I should read about the dragonfly or the damselfly, because that is also a part of this story. I think we shall, because that might be for somebody here too. And maybe I'll even see more of a connection between the two animals. I mean, the two beings, the duck and the damselfly or dragonfly, they both like to be near water. I know that much. So, okay, here it is. Ooh, oh, this is good too. This is good. Okay, sorry. Okay, not sorry, but all right. Dragonfly and damselfly. Keynote, the power of light. That's why I got excited, because I have also been thinking about light. And what I learned today is that you can use the power of light within your own body to basically ward off, negative energies or unwanted energies and presence. So in a sense, the more light that you fill up in your own body, the more you attract light and detract what's not light. And so therefore you create your own protective force field. Woo! Okay. Dragonflies and damselflies are very ancient, with estimates of having been around for over 180 million years. Okay. They have a beautiful jewel-like coloring. It's true. The bright colors take time to develop, reflecting the idea that with maturity, our own true colors come forth. I love that. This is part of dragonfly medicine. Yeah, I love that. For many, it is difficult to tell the difference between a dragonfly and a damselfly. Dragonflies have broad bodies and enormous eyes. Damselflies are more slender and delicate. When dragonflies are at rest, they hold their wings out like a glider. Damselflies will fold their wings over their backs when at rest. Dragonflies will often eat while in flight, and damselflies will always land before eating. I think I'm more of a damselfly. At this point, I definitely prefer to eat standing or sitting still. Anyway, okay. Both are known for their fast flight and their dazzling aerial feats, as if imitating how light itself can be moved and directed. They twist, turn, change direction in an instant, hover, move up or down, and even fly backwards. Dragonflies are sometimes known as mosquito hawks. Both the damsels and the dragons are excellent hunters of flying insects. They can fly at speeds up to 30 miles an hour, and their eyes help spot flying insects. They can spot a movement 40 feet away. They use their sharp, spiny legs and strong jaws to capture their prey. Dragonflies and damselflies inhabit two realms, water and air, kind of like the duck. The significance of these should be examined. Yeah, I believe it. Hydration, sitting next to water, playing in water, going swimming, taking baths, longer showers, listening to the sound of water. Air, pranayama, which is breathing practices, hugging the air when you're outside taking a walk, whenever you feel like a big gust of air coming towards you. Maybe you go ahead and put your arms out and give the air a hug. Stepping outside for a walk and just letting that fresh air touch you, you know what I mean? Like, air is also like thought, and, water is emotion. So, and they're definitely connected. I'm burping a lot, but I feel like that's because I do that sometimes when I need to, like, verbalize, I guess. Burpalize. Okay. Where was I? Okay. They can fly up to speeds of 30 miles an hour. That's pretty cool. Okay. Dragonflies and damselflies inhabit two realms, water and air. They should be examined upon. In their early life as a nymph, they live within the water. As they mature and go through their metamorphosis, they move to the realm of air. It is not unusual to find individuals with dragonfly totems to be very emotional and passionate in the early years, but as they get older, they learn to balance it with greater mental clarity and control. Sometimes it can indicate that the emotions have gotten shut down because of emotional issues in the early life. Remember, yeah, I've been thinking a lot about my early life too. Just some of my conditioning, my family upbringing, things like that. Remember that the dragonfly and damselfly are always found around water. There must be expressions of the emotional and mental together. If a dragonfly has shown up in your life, you may need some fresh air in regard to something emotional, meaning fresh perspective. You may need to gain a new perspective or make a change. It may even indicate that you are neglecting your emotions. Okay. Are you being too rational about everything? Are you not keeping the color of emotions alive? Dragonflies are very territorial. They will lay their eggs within their territory near the water. The egg eventually develops into the nymph stage of metamorphosis in this insect and remains as a nymph for almost 2 years before it transforms into an adult dragonfly or damselfly. This can reflect a number of possibilities for those with this totem. It can indicate that an approximate 2-year period of change is about to reach its culmination. The number 9 in the ducks is a culmination. And I will say it has been a very interesting 2 years for me. It may reflect that you are coming into it. It may even reflect a need to institute changes that may culminate in the colorful transformations you desire within a 2-year period. Okay, only by examining your life and activities will you begin to understand this specific role. Yes, that's what I've been saying. I've been kind of examining like my habits and patterns and what's gotten me to where I am right now and where do I want to be and what do I need to do? How do I need to be to get there, Just as light can bend and shift and be adapted in a variety of ways, so can the archetypal forces associated with the dragonfly. It is one of the most adaptive of insects. It is why it has been able to survive for so long. Dragonflies have 2 pairs of wings, but if need be, they can fly with one. Their eyes are kept clean with special combs on their legs. Oh, cool. And by washing the eyes with water drops collected in the mouth. Okay. I'm just trying to make connections, But anyway, their main predators are frogs and birds. Lately, I have been pulling an oracle card of the frog, and it speaks about decluttering. So it's kind of like another action of culmination of a past experience to welcome in a new experience. Their main predators are frogs and birds. Particularly the frog should be studied by those with this totem. Examining its information found in the last chapter will help you with this. Their realm is the realm of light, of light, and they are only out during the day. They are only out during the day as they are cold-blooded. Summer is their most powerful time as they need the warmth and the light of the sun. Yeah, that's how I be feeling, yeah. I'm just like constantly cold without the sun. For those with this totem, this will be important to consider. Spending time outside in the sun near fresh water sources will be beneficial for restoring and changing health conditions for the better for those with this totem. Although some have something I want to say about like spending time next to water is that our brains do naturally relax more when we know that there's a source of water nearby because it's a source of life nearby. So listening to water, watching the waves kind of crash up against rocks is a very medicinal thing to do for sure. Or touching water and just like really tuning into that. Okay. Although some have color pigments in their skin, although some have color pigments in their skin, for most the colors are caused almost the same way rainbows form. Structures in their shell scatter and reflect the light, making them look iridescent green and blue. As they age, they may pass through several color changes. This ability to reflect and refract light and color has caused it to be associated with many forms of magic and mysticism. Whoa! Okay, I'm getting excited because I'll tell you in a second. Including color magic, illusion, causing others only to see what you wish, and more. Yes! Okay, I'll stop right there, okay? Today I started looking up how to cloak myself, literally. Or, just any way I can. Psychically or materially, like how can I do that? And it turns out there's like multiple different studies and discoveries of different ways to cloak or to make something invisible. And the root of all of those solutions was basically to manipulate the light by reflecting the light back, kind of like a mirror. Yeah, so that's just really interesting that I have been thinking about that a lot lately. Because there are certain like entities I don't really want seeing me while I'm out, I'm just tired of like having unwanted attention. Dragonfly's magic is the power of light and all that has ever been associated with it. Dragonflies and damselflies are often depicted in Japanese paintings representing new light and joy. To some Native Americans, they represent the souls of the dead. Some stories speak of the time in which they used to be real dragons. Often we assume that dragons have to be gigantic beasts breathing fire, but the fantastic creatures of the fairy realm often come in many shapes and sizes. I like that a lot. Dragonflies, because they are mythical relatives of the ancient dragons, are wonderful links to working with nature spirits. For more information on them, you may wish to refer to my earlier work, Enchantment of the Fairy Realm. The dragonfly and damselfly reflect and work with the sun and light. The light changes throughout the day. The dragonfly and damselfly undergo their own transformations. If they have shown up, look for change to occur. Are you resisting change where you shouldn't? Dragonflies remind us that we are light and can reflect the light in powerful ways if we choose to do so. Let there be light is the divine prompting to use the creative imagination as a force within your life. This is part of what dragonflies and damselflies teach us. Life is never quite the way it appears, but it is always filled with light and color. Whoa! Yeah, recently too, I woke up. Sometimes when I wake up, I get like just like a quick message. It's like the only message that I'm supposed to hear for the day. And that is nothing is as it appears, is what I heard as I woke up. And it just says here, life is never quite the way it appears, but it is always filled with light and color. Dragonfly can help you to see through your illusions and thus allow your own light to shine forth. I've been thinking that too, because with this whole like watcher energy in my life, thinking like, okay, obviously there's some kind of energy that wants to draw out a part of me. It's like there's like a curiosity in the natural world, and so maybe I'm not supposed to like hide my light. Maybe I'm not supposed to like hide in the dark and be like separated and hiding away to avoid unwanted attention. But maybe I'm actually supposed to shine my light even brighter. Yeah, I love that. That's going to really help me free myself, I think. Dragonfly brings the brightness of transformation and the wonder of colorful new vision. Yeah, I love that. So yeah, thanks to Ted Andrew. This book is amazing. I recommend it, and I will probably be sharing more stories of my, my personal experiences out in the natural world, and in combination with, all of it is the natural world, really. Where I am right now, this is a part of the natural world, but the world outdoors and how it's really informing the world indoors. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, I really appreciate you taking the time to listen to that information about my own life, my own reflections, as well as the life of ducks and damselflies and dragonflies. And I wish you a beautiful evening.